The Minister of Solid Minerals Development says the ministry is determined to ensure that the solid minerals sector's contribution to Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP) surpasses that of oil. Dr. Dele Alake said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, in Abuja. He said that the administration of President Bola Tinubu was putting in place policies and initiatives aimed at diversifying the economy and ensuring that it generates more revenue than oil in the near future.
Metaphorically, and literally. Literally, because Nigerians had not become accustomed to understanding or having a deeper knowledge of the potentialities of this sector in terms of its contribution to the GDP of Nigeria.
He said that Nigeria possesses the critical minerals in commercial quantities across its states needed for energy transition, which the ministry was aggressively marketing to attract big players to invest in the sector.
All amounted to like scratching the issues on the surface. So when we came in, we had to hit the ground running. There was no time for walking. So we started to put in policy initiatives in place to open up the sector. And that was the very first thing we did. We opened up that sector. We were able to rivet attention, national and international attention on this sector and on its potentials for growth, for economic growth of Nigeria. How did we do that? We embarked on an aggressive marketing, unlocking the richness of the potential, making sure that we pushed out information regarding the number of minerals that we have, the type of minerals that we have in Nigeria, and their demand nationally and internationally. One of the critical points that we want to emphasize here is the fact that because the world had started moving away from fossil fuel, necessarily because of the clamor for reduction in global warming, and the energy source for global warming is fossil fuel, like petroleum that we had depended upon. And if the world is moving away from it, from that fossil fuel, it then means naturally or logically that our revenue derivable from oil will start going down. So we will have to shift attention away from oil and diversify the economy. Don't forget that a major plank of the president's Renew Hope agenda is the diversification of our economy away from oil into other critical sectors of the economy. So solid minerals is one of the major pillars of this diversification effort. So we marketed, we went abroad, we went everywhere, all the conferences on mining in Australia, in Cape Town, in Saudi, and everywhere, in Qatar as well, selling the potentials that we have in our solid mineral sector. I made presentations even in Washington, D.C., in New York, everywhere, to potential investors.
According to him, negotiations are ongoing with an auditing firm to audit the sector aimed at sanitizing it to ensure the appropriate accruals to boost the country's GDP.
Last year, and between when we resumed and now, there has been a jump of over 10,000 applications off from potential investors wanting to come into the sector. And we have been approving applications to all of this, including international investors. So in terms of security, we met a lot of problems, challenges, I would say, like banditry, kidnapping, terrorism, and all that. And these were associated with the solid mineral sector because solid minerals is actually not done in the city, not in the urban areas. The operations are in the forest areas. And in the forest areas, insecurity is very or was very rife in Nigeria. So what we did was to make a presentation to the president on this issue, and he graciously set up an interministerial committee to secure our natural resources. And these natural resources are solid minerals, the marine economy, and the forest resources. And all the ministers in charge of all these sectors are members of this committee, including the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Environment, Marine Economy, Interior, and the heads of the security agencies. And I'm the chairman of that committee. And we set to work. And our work had been so meticulous that the mine marshals that I unveiled a few months ago is a result of that interministerial effort. Of course, the interministerial effort is still ongoing, but I couldn't wait for the result of that one because of the criticality of curbing that incessant illegalities or illegal operations in that sector.
Nan recalls that the minister had said that the German company Geoscan conducted a preliminary survey that indicates that Nigeria has $750 billion worth of solid minerals underground which had not been harnessed.